The number one question I get is, hey Lee, how can I get more leads for web design? And I don't play the experience card all that often, but over 20 years, I've sold millions of dollars of websites. And I've shown hundreds of other web designers how to sell hundreds of thousands, if not millions more. And I guarantee that you'll make more money, you'll get better leads, and you'll just feel generally happier in your business when you go solution first. So I made a list here that I'm going to share with you right now of 10 reasons why going solution first is the best way to run a web design business. And by best, what I mean is your clients get the best results and you make the most money, like you're the most profitable. So the number one complaint or the number one objection that comes up when we kind of get into stuff like this is people feel like, I don't want to turn away leads. Like if I commit to one solution, then I might get referrals that I could probably help, but I'm not because I'm kind of committed to this one thing. But the interesting thing to note about that is you're already turning away leads. Like if I said, hey, come over and wash my truck, you could, right? You could come over and wash my truck, but you're not. You're going to say, hey, I don't wash trucks, I build websites. So you're already turning away some leads, and all I'm suggesting to do is commit. Like commit to being able to do one thing really well. Because when you commit to something, you get awesome at it. And once you're awesome at something, people pay you more and you get more clients to do the thing you're really good at. And so that's the main idea. That doesn't even count as one of the 10 tips. That's bonus tip or whatever. So let's jump into the 10 reasons why going solution first is the best way to run a web design business, especially today. The first reason is you'll be remembered. Like when I first started doing web design, I would go to, I joined a BNI group and I went to these networking events, but I didn't really have any way to stand out. Like I was basically known as the web guy. And you don't really get remembered too much. Like if you do get remembered, it's in a very broad and generic way. And most of the time you just get forgotten. Like nobody even remembers what you said. Because you know how you get those little 30-second little elevator pitches that you get to do in these networking groups? It's like people are just falling asleep. They don't think about you. They don't even remember that you even spoke. But if you said something like, I can help local businesses generate leads and I have a performance guarantee behind it, people are gonna be like, holy smoke, what did you just say? Who is that guy over there? And you'll get remembered because you've said something that really stands out and you don't just blend in like a garden variety web designer. So that's thing number one, you get remembered. Thing number two is when you do get remembered, especially when you tell people who you help and what thing you help them achieve, like we just said, with like local businesses, getting more leads, then you get this matchmaker moment is triggered in people's heads where they're like, oh, I know a local business owner. Maybe I am a local business owner. Let me refer either myself or my friends to Lee because he serves that audience with the result that they want. And so that means you get more leads because you're telling people who you help and what outcome you help them achieve. And you don't get the leads if you just say what stuff you do. Like if you just say, hey, I do digital marketing or I just build websites, people don't know what that means. Like who do you do it for? Are you talking about like national brands like Nike and Honda and Disney? Or are you talking about like the guy that runs the car dealership down the street or whatever? It's like nobody knows, and that's why you don't have that matchmaker moment, and that's why you don't get the leads. And then the third one is when you do get the leads, all of the leads are ideal clients. Like all the people that come to you because they want the outcome of the solution that you're offering. And what that means is everyone's an ideal fit. Like they wouldn't go to you if they wanted you to like move all of their contacts into Infusionsoft or something like that, because that's not what you offer. But if you say, hey, I'm the web guy, it's like when I was known as the web guy, people wanted me to do everything from build websites to install their printers or troubleshoot their Wi-Fi networks or whatever. It's like people don't really even have any idea what it even is. Like most people don't know what you and I do. And so anything that has anything to do with computers or the internet or anything, you suddenly become that person. And when you do it this new way with the solution first way, all of your leads become ideal leads because you said, this is who I help. This is the outcome that I can help people achieve. And then all the people that come to you want that specific thing. So that's the third thing about it. It attracts the ideal clients. The fourth thing is for a fact that you can get results. So like when you create a solution first, the whole point of creating the solution first is that you know that it works. And like I've got other videos and we can talk another time about like how to onboard your first clients. In fact, I'll even link you to a video about how to get your first clients if you're not confident in your solution yet. But once you have the solution, and like for me, like me telling you right now, like if you go solution first, I guarantee that you will get better leads, you'll make more money, you'll be more profitable, you'll be happier in your business because I have so much experience doing it and I've helped other people do it too. It's just like, there's no way that I could be convinced that this is not the best way to get leads. And that's how you want to be for your solution too. It's like when people come to you and be like, there is no way that if you work with that guy over there, that you will have fewer leads coming into your business. It's because you have that solution. You know for a fact that you can get results, and you've got case studies to prove it. And it's like, that's awesome. Like, that's where you want to be. And compare that to where you are maybe right now. If you're just willy-nilly taking clients from anywhere, it's like, how do you know if you're going to be awesome at doing the thing that the referral that just called you is asking you to do? If it could be anything, right? Like we were just talking about before, it's like sometimes people call me up to like troubleshoot their Wi-Fi networks or like get their email clients set up or something like that. It's like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. It's like, that's not my forte. And so like, that's the problem. Okay, so you know for a fact, so that's number 4, that you can get results. Number 5 is you stop wasting time on proposals. Like, this might be one of my favorite ones of the list. I don't know, maybe the 10th one's my favorite too. I don't know. A lot of them are good, but not wasting time on proposals. How much time have you spent writing proposals where you like do a lot of research, figure out what the client really needs, put a lot of strategy into the proposal, and then you go and say, here's what I think we're going to do. Like, have a follow-up meeting or whatever. And you say, here's my proposal. And they're like $5,000 or $10,000. It's like the price is just so much higher than they thought it should be. And they're like, I thought it was going to be like $500 or maybe $1,000. And like the price difference is so far apart that there's no way to bridge the gap. And then everybody leaves really frustrated. And you spend all this time doing it. And not only that, it was like, what about the times where you like write this proposal, put all the strategy in it, hand it to the client, they're like, ooh, that's too expensive. But then they take all the strategy and shop it around and get someone else to do it, cheaper than you. And so you just give all the strategy away for free. I hate doing that. It feels so frustrating. And when you have a solution first agency, you don't ever have to write proposals again. It's like, hey, this is the thing I know how to do. I'm offering it to you. Would you like it? And you basically got that whole thing already pre-written and ready to go. And it's awesome. You save so much time. And by the way, that's one of the reasons your profit margins are a lot higher. We'll talk more about profit margins in a minute. But like, if that makes some good sense to you, give me a thumbs up on that, because this is probably, I'll give it my second favorite. I think the last one is probably my favorite one. But that's one of my things. So thumb to thumb for me if you like that idea as well. Not only that, I love to see the likes come in. It always makes me feel happy. So thank you very much for doing that. Okay, we're up to number 6 now. So number 6 is where to focus your outreach efforts. So what I mean by focusing your outreach efforts, you got to get leads from somewhere. And if you know who it is that you help and what outcome you help them achieve, you instantly know where to find the people that want that thing. Whereas if it's super broad, like, sometimes I'll review websites and it'll say, well, yeah, we serve local businesses and national businesses alike and nonprofits. And it's like, so that's basically everybody, right? So where are you gonna go to find leads? It's like, just go out into the world and just start shouting about web design. It's like, that's not going to pull any leads for you. You need to figure out like what is it that what's the outcome? And like for me, like I really like targeting local businesses that have in-person interactions with their clients, because a lot of the digital marketing tools that I like to use sort of require that as part of the marketing strategy. Like, for example, you can't even have a Google business profile if you're not a local business that has in-person interactions with their clients. And so if using a Google business profile and getting reviews and, getting ranked on Google Maps and all that stuff is going to be part of your strategy, it's like, you better make sure that your client qualifies to have one, right? And so then you think, okay, well, if I'm going to be targeting these local in-person businesses, you know exactly where to go to find them and exactly what to say. And you've got a very targeted focus to your own marketing. Even if you were going to run ads or something like that, you know who to target in your ad campaigns. It's like, that's a lot better than just saying, well, I can just work for anybody, because if you do that, you won't know what to say on your website. You won't know how to do your outreach, and you end up just waiting on referrals, hoping that somebody calls you. And you don't want to be there, because then that gives you this really spiky income, and you just don't feel in control of your leads, and then you're not in control of your own business. So number 6 is how to focus your outreach. Number 7 is you'll have great lead magnets, right? So like, suppose you don't have an audience at all. What are you going to what's the lead magnet going to be? How do you know what's valuable to people if everyone is coming to your website? But if you say, hey, I'm going to help you build get leads for your local business, for example, a lead magnet could be, hey, here's the 5 ways we're driving leads for local businesses, the things that are working now, especially after the pandemic and everything. These are the ways that we're finding that local businesses are getting the most leads now. And if I have a local business, I want to read that. Like, that's something that I want access to. So you know exactly how to create valuable lead magnets when you have a solution first agency, because that targets the audience, and then you can speak to them. Here's a bonus, that this is not part of the list, just occurred to me. If you find yourself stuck with writer's block, like you don't know what to say on your website, you don't know what to say when you go to a networking event, if you just feel like you just don't know what to say with regard to your business and marketing, The problem is probably that the audience is too broad. Like anytime I feel like I have writer's block, it's almost always the fact that I'm trying to speak to too many people at the same time, and I'm trying to kind of whittle things down to the lowest common denominator that it will be shared across all of the people. And sometimes it's so low, it's nothing, and there's nothing to be said, and then you don't know what to say. So you end up just creating fluff content that doesn't really mean anything to anybody, and of course that doesn't pull leads. So anyway, so number 7 was, if you do have an audience and you do know what the solution is and you do know what the outcome is that your clients want, make some really good lead magnets for that. And when you have lead magnets, you can actually pull the leads, which is why having a solution first agency will get you so many more leads than just having a generic garden variety web design business. Number 8 is you'll have higher profit margins. And this is, oh gosh, this is another one that's one of my favorite ones. It's like, if you don't have very good profit margins for your work, that's the main thing that makes people feel burnt out. You know, like where you just work all of these hours and you just don't feel like you're making what you're worth. And it's very, very frustrating. And what's happening if you have a garden variety web design business where you don't have a solution and an outcome that you're offering to people, usually people will try to say, hey, well, I can do a little bit more than everyone else is doing, and I'll charge a little bit less than everyone else is charging. And then the next person says the same thing, and everybody wants to do a little bit more while charging a little bit less until there is no profit margin. And then everybody's broke. Everybody goes out. You can't do that, right? You get burnt out. You don't make any money. Your clients really don't get results because you're trying to maybe even cut corners because the profit margins are so low and so thin. But when you have a solution first agency, the profit margins are huge. And the reason that's huge is because you do the hard part that takes all the time first. And then you get clients where you just do the implementation of the solution that you've created over and over. It's like 80% of the project is like, how am I going to get leads for these clients? What's the strategy behind it? What steps do I need to take to pull it all together? And like, how do I really go deep in the industry to figure out what's really going to work for this client that I'm working with now? And that's like 80% of the project. And then the last 20% is just doing it. It's just like building the website and just kind of launching the whole project. Everything else, like in a traditional agency, you have like the discovery and the design and like the development and then the revisions and like all of that stuff. It's like, what if you did all that up front? So like every time you could just crank out the result over and over. So it's not cookie cutter websites. It's like the branding, the logo, the design, and all that is custom. But that 80% of the work where you're trying to figure out what is actually going to work for this client, you do that one time and then reuse the same strategy over and over. And that means you have much higher profit margins because you don't waste all that time. And not even to mention the time we just talked about proposals. You don't have to write proposals anymore either, which also wastes time. So when you take like the creative part of the, like with regard to the strategy out of the equation, it's so much faster to implement the sites. And on top of that, clients get much better results because it's not your first rodeo. It's like you've done this a bunch of times. You know, this is the pattern that works. Like think about it in some other context. Like what if you were going to go get surgery for something? Do you want to like go to the general surgeon that has never done this particular surgery that you need? Or do you want to go to the guy that always does the exact surgery that you need and has done it like 18 million times and is awesome at it? For me, I want to go to the guy who's done it 18 million times and is awesome at it. And that's the same idea with the profit margins here. It's like, okay, the guy that's done it 18 million times and is awesome at it isn't going to be wasting time doing stuff that's not necessary. And the stuff that is necessary is all that will be done. And I know that I'm going to get great results with it. So that's the thing about the profit margin. So we're up to number 9. It's now you can scale your business. So like if you get like stuck inside your business, like with the garden variety web design business, what will happen is, and this happened to me too, I had to get out of this. People said, I only want to work with Lee. If Lee isn't building the website, I don't want to work with the business because I know Lee, he does a good job. He has a history of doing good work with his other clients, and I want to work with that guy, right? So that would be you. So like if that would be your situation. Like I want to work with you. And if you're not doing the web design, I don't want you to hand me off to somebody else. I want you. And you can't scale like that. It's like you can't scale yourself. So in order to break free from that, where you're your own bottleneck, what you can do with a solution first agency is you say, here are the elements of the solution, right? So you're going to have different components. It's probably going to land into like 3 different layers or 3 different high level categories of services. You're going to have like the graphic design layer, like the web design, the branding, the logo, that stuff. You're going to have the technical layer, which is going to be like hosting, maintenance, support, like all the technical stuff. And you're going to have a marketing layer, which is like driving traffic, doing like SEO work, and maybe even ads and things like that. And like, you could at least say, hey, I've got a team that does the graphic stuff, I have a team that does the tech stuff, and I have a team that does the marketing stuff. And it doesn't have to be you. It probably shouldn't be you for all that stuff. You can have specialists in each of those areas. And it doesn't matter that it's not you, because they don't want access to you. They want access to the outcome of your solution. But if you don't have a solution, it doesn't work like that. They always want access to you. So it's really important to have a solution first agency so that you can actually train people, different people, how to do the different layers of your solution, and then you can scale it. And that's awesome. So you don't become your own bottleneck. So that's a big one. And then the last one, number 10, is all your clients are on monthly plans. So I'm saving this one for last because I think it's definitely the thing that makes you the most profitable. And so I think that's probably my favorite one for that reason. So if you agree on the monthly plan thing, give me a thumbs up and let me know. But all your clients are on monthly plans. So you're like, well, why is that, Lee? Why would all of my clients be on monthly plans if I have a solution first agency? And the reason why is because you flip the offer. Like when you create a solution first agency, you're not really selling the website, you're selling the results. And the results generally come from the monthly services. Like the traffic, it's like, what are you gonna do to drive traffic? So we'll probably do, I don't know, maybe we'll get reviews and optimize your Google business profile and get you ranking better on Google Maps and other local SEO stuff, and maybe even paid ads and content marketing and all kinds of stuff that you can be doing on a consistent monthly basis. And that's the traffic part. And then there's the lead magnet part. It's like, well, we should probably try a couple different lead magnets and different nurturing sequences. We'll probably want to edit those things and see what's working over time and keep that optimized. And then there's the clients components. Like, how are we going to get the clients on board? Well, that's the nurturing sequence, and the nurturing sequence has a call to action that goes to the website. And you're probably going to have some products to sell, or at least an online calendar to book appointments. And you just kind of reduce all the friction and see like what's going on. And that's something that we maintain over time. It's like the traffic, leads, clients, kind of customer journey. That's the thing that your client really wants, and that's where all the monthly services are. And then you say, in order for that traffic, leads, clients thing to really work out, we're also going to need to make some upgrades to the website, because the traffic is going to be driven to the site. So it needs to load fast, it needs to be mobile friendly, it needs to have call to action, it needs to have a good headline. And then the leads part, like the email opt-in form for your lead magnet, that's got to be on the website. And then the clients parts, like the online calendar and the products or whatever, that's on the website. So we have to make some updates to the website. But the reason we're doing that is because the traffic, leads, clients story, right? And that's where the monthly services are. So what that means is when you have a solution first agency, all your clients are on a monthly plan, not just the ones that you're able to upgrade to like hosting and maintenance after you build the website, which almost nobody really wants. And that's huge, because the monthly plan aspect will triple your revenue. It's like the main reason that the solution first agency is the best way to launch your web agency, especially today, is because everyone's on the monthly plan. Even if it's just like $500 a month, that's an extra $6,000 a year in your business just because of the monthly plan. That's huge. That's what if you had a $3,000 website without the monthly plan? And then you put a $500 per month plan in there, now you've got a $9,000 client. That triples your revenue. That's awesome. So anyway, that's why, those are the 10 reasons why having a solution first agency is the best way to run a web agency today. Now, the next question is going to be, well, how do I build out the solution? And like, what do I do to get my first clients? So check out this next video and I'll show you 3 different pricing models for landing your first client as you're building out your solution. So check that out. I'll see you over there.